Welcome. I am Dr. Akash Pawar and you are watching my YouTube channel Study Made Easy. If you are new to my channel, then please subscribe it and also press the bell icon so that you will get the latest notification regarding my videos. In previous video we had discussed about the menstrual cycle and menstruation, and I told you that time in next video we will discuss about the ovarian cycle. But dear friends, there is some important thing that is very important to understand prior going to discuss about the ovarian cycle, and that thing is follicle. So the dear friends, the follicles means what are the changes are going to take place inside the ovary, they are in relation with the follicles. So the dear friends, the journey of follicles starts from the germ cells. Germ cell migrates from endoderm of yolk sac in the region of hindgut, from where they again migrates into the genital ridge. These germ cells rapidly undergoes the mitotic divisions, and at the age of 20 weeks of intrauterine life, 20 weeks of intrauterine life, the total number of germ cells are near about 7 millions. So suppose these are the germ cells. Out of these germ cells, few enters into the prophase of first mitotic division and other are gets atretic, and those germ cells which enter into the first mitotic division are called as primary oocyte. So these are those germ cells which enter into the prophase of first mitotic division, and afterwards these primary oocytes gets covered by the single layer of granulosa cells, and these oocytes which are having single layer of granulosa cells are called as primordial follicles. These primary oocytes undergoes the various stages of mitotic divisions. Those are the leptotens, zygotens, pachiten, and diploten, where these follicles, maturation of these follicles get arrested into the diploten phase, and this phase lasts until the ovulation. It means that till the ovulation the primary oocytes are get arrested in the diploten phase of the first mitotic division. Now the important thing is that the number of oocytes at the age of 20 weeks of intrauterine life is near about 7 millions, while this number gets reduced to the 2 millions at birth, and at the age of puberty the number of follicles are near about 4 lakhs at puberty. These are at birth and these are at intrauterine life. And dear friends, out of these 4 lakhs follicles, near about 400 are about to ovulate. If you see towards these numbers, then you can understand the number of follicles are going to be decreased as the age is advancing. And dear friends, the reason is that the process of degeneration, yes, the process of degeneration starts from the intrauterine life of a fetus, and simultaneously the number of follicles is going to be reduced, and this is the reason, my dear friends, that at the age of 45, near about the 45, why a woman is going to face the menopause. The reason is that there is a complete depletion of the follicles. Now the another thing is very important regarding this follicle, and that thing is a maturation of the follicles. Now what is the purpose of maturation of the follicles? Then dear friends, the importance of maturation of follicle is just to reduce the number of chromosomes to its half. Now the primary oocytes remains in the diplotent phase. As I told you earlier that the primary oocytes remains or get arrested into the diplotent phase. But dear friends, it is the surge of LH when it will occur at the mid cycle, and this mid cycle surge of LH is going to initiate the resumption of meiosis 1. And dear friends, at this stage during the mid cycle surge of LH, at that time the primary follicles undergoes first mitotic division, that too before ovulation. Now during the process of maturation, primary oocyte undergoes the first mitotic division just before the ovulation, and because of mid-cyclic surge of LH. Because of this first mitotic division, primary oocyte giving rise the secondary oocyte and first polar body. Remember dear friends, all these things are occurring just before the ovulation due to the mid-cyclic surge of LH. Remember, the mid-cyclic surge of LH is going to initiate the resumption of meiosis 1. Also, this mid-cyclic surge of LH is responsible for the ovulation. Now the thing is that after completing the first mitotic division, the oocyte is said to be secondary oocyte, and this secondary oocyte with first polar body having unequal size, where the secondary oocyte is having large cytoplasm and the haploid number of chromosomes. What do you mean by the haploid number of chromosomes? Haploid number of chromosomes means that these are the unpaired chromosomes. Are you getting me? These are the unpaired chromosomes. It is called as haploid chromosomes. So the haploid number of chromosomes in a secondary oocyte is 23, and also in the polar body there is also presence of haploid number of chromosomes, but it is not having that much cytoplasm. While in a secondary oocyte there is a presence of haploid number of chromosomes and large quantity of cytoplasm. And formation of secondary oocyte with complete matured graphene follicle occurs just before the ovulation. Now this secondary oocyte immediately begins the second mitotic division before the ovulation, but it gets arrested at its metaphase. And dear friends, secondary oocyte completes its second mitotic division only after when it gets fertilized by the sperm inside fallopian tube. It means that the first mitotic division completes just before the ovulation, and the second mitotic division gets completed only after fertilization. And if this fertilization will not take place, at that time this secondary follicle is also going to be get degenerated. The very important thing is that which is that factor which is going to arrest the maturation of this follicle, and that the name of that factor is a oocyte maturation inhibiting factor. This oocyte maturation inhibiting factor is responsible for the arrest of growth of the follicle. Tell me, when the first mitotic division is going to be complete? Yes, at mid-cyclic surge of LH. Now we will discuss about the maturation of oocyte. As we know that along with the maturation of a oocyte, the follicle also becomes enlarged. And see dear friends, now what happens? This is a primary follicle where it is having a single layer of granulosa cells. It is called as primary follicle. Now as the maturation of oocyte takes place, the size of oocyte gets enlarged, and when there is a presence of multi-layered granulosa cells, at that time it is called as, these are the multi-layer of the granulosa cells, so they are called as, yes please, it is called as corona radiata. These are multi-layered of the granulosa cells, where in initial stage they were the single layer. Here they became the multi-layered, and these granulosa cells, that means the corona radiata, is going to secrete the glycoprotein, and this glycoprotein is going to form the outer border of oocyte, and it is called as zona pellucida. What it is called as? Zona pellucida, where inside there is the presence of a cytoplasm and a nucleus which is situated in a center of the follicle. This is a nucleus, and along with that there is a presence of a cytoplasm, and this cytoplasm is having a nutritional granules. And dear friends, along with this, when the growth of follicle is going to take place, at that time there is a appearance of two different types of the cells at the outer border of the cell, and they are called as thecal cells. There are the two types of the thecal cells. First one is a theca interna and second one is a theca externa. These cells are very important. Why, that I will tell you. Just let me draw the diagram. These are the theca interna, which are drawn in a black color, and these are the theca externa. These thecal cells are going to synthesize the androgens under the influence of LH, and these androgens get converted into the, see what is happening, it is very important part. These androgens under the influence of LH, the theca cells are going to synthesize the androgens, and these androgens diffuse into the granulosa cells, where they get converted into the estrogen by the process of aromatization and under influence of FSH. So dear friends, the process of synthesis of estrogen is said to be two cells and two gonadotropin theory. Why? Because for the synthesis of estrogen, LH is going to act on the thecal cells and they are going to produce the androgens, and these androgens diffuse into the granulosa cells, and here under the influence of FSH, granulosa cells are going to aromatize this androgen into the estrogen. Hence there are the two cells are working. Which one? Thecal cells as well as the granulosa cells, and two gonadotropin hormones are also there participating, and those are the LH and FSH. Hence this method or theory is called as two cell and two gonadotropin theory for the synthesis of estrogen. But after ovulation, corpus luteum is going to synthesize the progesterone, and this synthesis occurs just by the two cells and one gonadotropin. Again thing is same, that LH is going to act on the theca granulosa cells, that means on the both cells, that those are the thecal cells as well as the granulosa cells, but only one gonadotropin is going to mediate the synthesis of progesterone, where for the synthesis of estrogen there are the two cells and two gonadotropins are required, but for the synthesis of progesterone only two cells, those are the thecal as well as the granulosa cells, and only one gonadotropin, that is a LH, is required. Now the important thing is that, dear friends, when a secondary oocyte gets matured, that means when the Graafian follicle is get matured fully just before the ovulation, at that time there is a appearance of a antrum. It is a follicular cavity and it is having the estrogen on oocyte maturation inhibiting factor, inhibin, as well as the other androgens. So dear friends, in next video we are going to discuss about the ovulatory cycle in a detail, and it is not a secondary oocyte, it is a primary oocyte we can say. But the thing is that what I want to tell you, how the hormones are going to be synthesized. I told you this in brief, but we are going to discuss about estrogen as well as the progesterone in a detail when we will discuss about the particular topic. So thank you very much for watching my video.